Mastering the creation of your reality. Greetings, we are the Arcturian Council. We are pleased to connect with all of you. We have been focusing quite a bit of our attention on your ability to hold your vibration in a particular frequency, and we are very pleased to report that humans have been showing a greater ability to stay in the vibration of your choosing for longer stretches of your time. This is the skill that you need while you are still fourth dimensional, because you need to hold that vibration for a longer period in order to manifest something, and know that it was you that was responsible for that manifestation. So it is very empowering. It also keeps you feeling the way that you want to feel, which is even more important than the manifestation part. In a fast-paced society where people are often rushing around, giving their attention to whatever is grabbing it, it is very important for you to be able to hold a vibration. And it is a skill that indicates to us that those of you who are doing it have been able to tune out the physical realm long enough to relax into the internal realm. You can only really be aware of your vibration by going within. And when you are willing to go within, you are capable of accessing the vibration of your choice and holding it. But like anything on your world, it takes practice. It takes your time, your attention, your focus, and your effort. And we want you to know that the effort you have been putting forth has been paying off. Those of you who have determined for yourselves that it is an important skill to have are noticing that your lives are getting easier. You are noticing that your powers of manifestation are increasing. And you are noticing that you are in the mood you want to be in more often than not. Now the tricky part will be sharing this ability with others in such a way that they will be able to notice a difference in their own lives. So those of you who are holding meditation classes, sound healings, and gatherings together in groups holding various intentions, you are the ones who are mastering this ability and figuring out how to help others in their quest to feel that they have a sort of mastery over the physical realm. Remember that you all have been masters in at least one previous lifetimes on Earth, or perhaps elsewhere in the galaxy. So you are remembering abilities like this one, and it is through your practice and your continued interest in all things spiritual that you have come to this point. You can expect to start seeing manifestations coming faster and faster as the energies keep increasing in their speed and their vibration. And this is one of the many ways that you will serve your fellow humans that you have there in the fourth dimension. You will demonstrate your ability, the results that you get from practicing, and you will figure out ways of teaching them how to master vibration. And in mastering their vibration, they will master the creation of their reality, and that is what so many are looking for at this time. More than your mind can imagine. We are putting an extra emphasis on the power of listening to the inner wisdom that you have, and we are doing so because we see so many of you believing in one thing that you are supposed to be doing. You see, when you are in your head, you can tell yourself all kinds of stories. Some of those stories feel good to you and some feel very bad. But the thing about the mind and its stories is, there is no end to how many of those stories your mind can concoct. However, when you let go of your mental processing and you listen instead to your heart, you can be much more present, you can be much more spontaneous, and you can be less attached to results. The mind likes victories, the mind likes goals, the mind likes accomplishments, beginnings, and ends. But what if the story is meant to go on and on and on with many twists and turns with no end in sight? What if your heart could show you a way to get even more than your mind could imagine? Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be fun to play in the present a bit more, and to trust in that inner wisdom that you have that comes from being grounded, present, and a little bit out of your mind? You don't have to abandon your minds altogether. You just want to be aware of when your mind is taking over and trying to control everything. A good way to settle and silence your mind is to take a few deep breaths. Your heart is positioned perfectly in between your lungs, so when you breathe, it is quite natural for you to then focus on that heart space, on that energy, and on that connection that you feel to all. This happens quite naturally when you are heart-centered. Everything slows down. Nothing seems as significant as it once did. You can relax. You can let go of all those goals and all those attachments to your accomplishments. And you can be present and feel more alive in your willingness to engage in the present moment with the whole of who you are. The mind has its place. The mind helps you to focus, but it is best utilized when it is helping you to focus on something in the present, rather than something in the past or something in the projected future. We are going to continue to emphasize the power that you have within you because we love you so much, and because we love you so much, we want to see you detaching a bit from these stories, and we want to see you settle down in the now moment, where your heart is and where your focus can be. It is certainly you are going to feel more oneness, more unity, and more whole. Leading society into 5D. We have a very good picture of what it looks like for a human being to try to fit into society. And we also have a very good picture of what it looks like when someone is making a statement that is counter to societal norms. We also notice when one of you is willing to just be yourself, and when being yourself is not an act of resistance to the societal norms that you have been made aware of. You find yourself in a sweet spot. The sweet spot is a place where you give yourself permission to be who you want to be, and you don't really care what anyone thinks. You are neither a conformist nor a rebel. You are just you. And most people get there at some point in their lives one way or another. There is a shedding of the skin of who you thought you were supposed to be or who your parents wanted you to be. There are even many adults who are single who are running around trying to be what their preferred gender wants them to be. Or at least they're doing what they think the gender they prefer wants them to do, looking like they think they need to look in order to attract someone. Now, there also comes a time in a person's life when it is time to examine whether you are operating as the part of yourself that lives in fear, or whether you are operating as a part of yourself that seeks out joy. You also have a survival instinct, in addition to this desire to fit in or stand out as someone who is purposely not fitting in. The survival instinct means that you have to compete with others. It means you have more than enough just in case. It's a part of you that never really feels relaxed because something bad could happen. You could get a disease, or the economy could tank. Any number of things could happen that would potentially put your survival at risk. We are speaking to those of you who recognized that survival instinct a long time ago and have shed that skin as well so that you could simply pursue your joy. You are meant to live in bliss and to be eager and enthusiastic when you wake up in the morning. But you still see people around you who are living in fear, and it's very hard for you. It's even harder to convince them that they no longer need to be afraid. And so what can you do? You can live your life fully, shine your light brightly, and invite anyone and everyone who wants to come along with you on the joy parade to march. You can be an example to others of how to live proudly as you are, and not to fear your mortal nature. You have evolved to the point where you needn't worry so much about survival. You have evolved to a point where you're becoming immortal, and when you can demonstrate to others how good it feels to not be afraid of dying, and not to be afraid of what others think, you can lead society into a new age, into an entirely new dimension. You are more powerful. We have been more and more encouraged with every passing day that we witness on the earth, as we see how many individuals are letting go of dogmatic teachings of having their own experience of reality. It is true that there are some universal truths, and it is also true that many individuals, groups, and texts have made an attempt to take all these universal truths and fit them into a series of dogmatic teachings that the followers of these teachings then have to scramble to try to live up to. This is not really what you are there to do. You are there to have a personal experience and to grow from it. And for so many of you, a big part of your personal experience has been to adhere to dogmatic teaching, so that you could later on recognize that the truth you were clinging to was not to be all and end all of all existence. It was perhaps one person's experience that then became distorted over time, corrupted perhaps, intentionally or unintentionally, but most of humanity has clung at one time or another to something that existed outside of themselves. And now, in this time of great awakening, you are meant to look within for the truth of the moment that you are experiencing, and that truth may be different from what someone else is experiencing in the same moment. And that, believe it or not, is okay. If Source only wanted one perspective on reality, then there would only be one being in the universe. Instead, there are so many beings having so many different types of experiences and making so many different conclusions about reality based on these experiences. And we want to tell you that even these personal conclusions can be swept away once they are no longer serving you. You are not there to adhere to your own set of dogmatic beliefs and truth either. A lot of it just takes you out of the moment, or makes you trust a prior experience over what is right in front of you, and that wasn't Source's intention for creating all this either. You're all meant to have your own personal experiences and to create a better version of reality based on those experiences. Once you truly accept yourself as a creator being, it becomes so much easier to live on your world and to make sense of it all. So we all say to you that if you don't like something about reality, use it. Use that information to create something new, rather than trying to create a new religion to keep that thing from ever happening. You are much more powerful than any of these rules and any of these texts, and you are certainly more powerful than any belief, whether it's held by you or someone else. Achieving goals. We have noticed the tendency on the part of humanity to set your sights on a particular goal that you have for yourselves and then to work very hard to achieve that goal. And all of this assumes that you will be happier, more fulfilled, more abundant, or something like that after you have achieved your goal. The assumption is, of course, not always accurate. Sometimes you will achieve a goal and you'll have more abundance, and then it'll be time to set another goal, because you'll want that feeling again. You will want the feeling of satisfaction. You'll want the feeling of accomplishment. You will create your sense of self-worth based upon whether you are able to achieve the next level of success by your own definition. Less of you than we would like to see are living your lives according to the joys that you feel in the moment. Very few are starting from a place of joy or satisfaction. Instead, you are seeking as though it is contained in something outside of you. You will always be the experiencer of that joy, that fulfillment, and even the abundance. You can have $1 billion and look at someone who has $25 billion and feel poor by comparison. Or a child can have $1 and think that he or she is rich. It is truly all relative and all created by definition. Reality is what you make of it. Reality is how you choose to experience it on the moment. And so, if you are looking to the achievements to give what you want, we recommend getting what you want first, and then deciding what it is you want to do from that place. Get into that state of happiness, love, freedom, or abundance, and then see what you feel inspired to do. And we guarantee you that it'll be more satisfying because you are doing it from a place of not needing to do it. We want to see more of you seeking out those vibrations by going within you and letting go of your attachment to someone else's definition of success or abundance. Even a person who has one relationship after another or one marriage after another can be seen as a failure in relationships by one person, but another may look at that same person and think about how exciting that lifestyle might be. Therefore, we suggest that you broaden your definitions and you allow for any little accomplishments to be something to celebrate. If you are living right now in a pain-free body, celebrate that. See it as an accomplishment if all you're feeling right now is calm and peaceful. And see any amount of money that is flowing into your life right now as a definition of abundance. And you will live more joyously from moment to moment. Bridging the gap between you and Source. We are tremendously encouraged by the way that we see all the change in your interactions with Source and with yourselves. We see more and more of you bridging the self-imposed, imaginary gap created between self and Source, and we see it happening in every moment of every day. You all are becoming more comfortable with yourselves as beings of Source, beings of unconditional love. And when you get into the state of allowing more of Source to flow through you, it is hard for you to deny what is actually happening. Getting into that flow means that you are following your bliss. You are being in a state of joy. You are allowing yourself to relax and let go. When you can just be and be present with whatever it is you are doing or not doing, that's when you are open. That's when Source flows through you, and that's when your concept of self evolves. When you know that something else is upon you, then you can no longer operate under the assumption that you are separate, that you are alone, that nothing else exists but your skin and bones. There has been an evolution of consciousness upon Earth that has allowed for all of you to feel more of the Source energy that you truly are to flow through you, and this is a trend that is going to continue. You are not going to see people backsliding into a belief that they are small, insignificant specks of dust in a gigantic universe. Once you get a taste of that flow of Source, you want more and more of it, and we want to encourage you to continue to close that gap. And the way that we know you do this is by following your bliss. When you are in a state of joy, passion, excitement, and enthusiasm for life, you can feel buoyed by the energy of Source. You can feel yourself aligning with that infinite love and light. You can know yourselves as eternal beings by recognizing that all is now. And if you exist in this now, then you exist in all of them. Again, coming to this realization is so significant that you can never go back. You can never unexpand your consciousness. You are all moving forward at the perfect pace, and life is going to inspire you more and more as you move forward to be who you really are, to not hold any of it back, and to merge the energy of Source with the human consciousness, perfectly and deliberately, creating a new version of you, the one you came to this lifetime to experience. We are the Arcturian Council, and we have enjoyed connecting with you.